Hey Lobstanaut, this is Matthew Acker calling back. We got here Don West, one of the most prolific photographers in the Boston community. Mr. West, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell Lobster.
So, photography has been a part of my life since I was a teenager, and for the last 35 years I've been a professional. All those other years it was kind of a background experience. But becoming a professional, I started in the news business, and that's where I got access to a lot of the people that you see in this exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
Doing news stories, you're in a sundry amount of circumstances.
Absolutely.
And the people you see in the exhibit are really ordinary folk doing extraordinary jobs. I mean, they're doing their daily job, but they've contributed so much to the community that I thought they needed to be recognized.
That's a clear line that you kind of defined right there. The ability to be just an ordinary person, but doing an extraordinary job.
Right.
And I think what really defines these people as extraordinary, and what makes it hard not to call them that, is the fact that they do such a good job with
Right.
that profession.
And that job basically is furthering the, contributing to community life, making people's lives better that are around them. The professions represented here are quite varied, from the governor to community activists of various kinds and artists and so forth. Each one of them contributing their talent and their art to the community to further the overall good of the community.
Absolutely. Everybody can see by looking at the photos that you've taken that you are an immaculate photographer, and you bring out an expression not only in the people that you're taking a photograph of, but you border that line of journalism and artist. You've done a lot of work within the journalism field, but I mean, I've seen some of your artistic work as well. What, for you, is the most difficult part about remaining objective and keeping your philosophy of life and art out of your journalist side of you, or does it kind of have a gray area? Does it blend?
I think it blends.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, a photographer is an artist of a sort, and artist basically means a person who sees life in a certain way and puts it into a perspective in a rectangular or square frame, and it's a painting or it's a photograph, whatever it is. It's first the ability to see art or see beyond just what is exact reality. In the news business, the purpose is to portray exact reality. You don't touch it up or anything, because
Right.
that's the value of news. But even still, you have an eye, and you see things from certain angles and certain perspectives, and that adds to the composition and the value of any particular image that you're creating. Going a little further then into a more artistic field, out of the news field, then you can manipulate a little bit.
Right.
And form the image that you've created a little bit more to what you want it to be, rather than what it exactly is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you see in some degree in my other exhibits, which Paris and Spain, photographs I've taken in other parts of the world that were not for news purposes, but just for my own edification. And in the end result, I wanted to do an exhibit with them. And so those are pretty much exact, but they're manipulated a little bit in terms of dark and light and formation of the image.
Now, you said that you try to remain objective, but you still have somewhat of an influence on the work itself. You're most well known, I would feel, for being a member of the Black community and helping that community be viewed in a different light than a lot of the popular news stations would have portrayed.
Well, being a part of the Black community and the experiences of it, and experiencing particularly the whole more recent oppression of Black people in South Africa, I was a part of that anti-apartheid movement as a photographer. And that angle of looking at people of color was of concern to me. And reading the newspapers, I often saw that the pictures that white photographers took of people of color was more slanted towards the white person or people in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking more of news pictures.
Right.
a very common situation at a press conference. There might be a mixture of people speaking. The white newspaper usually had the white person who was speaking in the picture in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, and if there were any people of color, they were in the background. I kind of felt, well, maybe because the other people of color spoke also.
Right.
Why shouldn't their picture be shown as the speaking person? And it's kind of a leadership position.
Right.
It's a position of, quote, a certain amount of power, you might say.
Absolutely.
So when I first began in the news business, I wanted to show that sense of the value of people of color in stronger positions visually, as you saw them in newspapers and in magazines and whatever. So that was an attitude I had, somewhat subjective, and certainly reporting in news business is not totally objective. It really comes with the background of the individuals who were involved.
Right.
And so that was kind of a core position that I was taking going into the news business, that I wanted to uplift the images of people of color.
I think that's awesome that you were able to not only use the media to your advantage, but to have the knowledge and the strength to do something that a lot of people were probably afraid to have been quoted saying that using the camera lens you can find yourself, you discover something about yourself. And you know, what have you discovered about yourself through the lens of the camera?
Well, basically the camera, being a photographer, has allowed me access to all of these people that you see here and the learning that I gained from them. So the learning and information that I gained from them over the years allowed me to grow. And so the catalyst for that was the camera.
That's awesome. I mean, I think back to myself as, you know, just starting as an artist and how I'm still trying to move forward. And, you know, it's all about the experiences and the people that you meet that drive you to discover more, not just about yourself, but about the society that you live in and how can you portray that. So I just wanted to, on behalf of myself and the rest of New England and Lobstanaut.com, I want to thank you very much, Don, for having this interview with us. Everybody at Lobstanaut, please check out Don. Go to his website, come to the African American History Museum and see the photos. The gallery is beautiful, and we'll be seeing you soon.